Yo, welcome back, everybody, to Shooting the Shit. I'm back with the first guest of the freaking podcast, the man, the myth, the legend himself, my man, Super Heric, fresh from the East Coast. What's good, fam? How's everything?
It's good, man. It's good. Everything is like um all over and great. It's chaotic but organized at the same time. It's yeah, I'm here back in New Jersey again, close to New York. And like I was saying, like, like I lived like in so many areas. I come back to so many places, but I always seem to get my way back here in the East Coast. Like, it's always seemed to get back to New York. It's like addicted, like I always say, it's very addicted.
How do you feel about the differentials of like East Coast and the West Coast as far as traveling goes? Do you like it better here, or do you feel like it's better out there? Like in a sense of like not just like the cultural part of hip hop, but like as far as just a general place of living in general.
Oh, like the livelihood and like kind of like the sociality of like what you get in both places. It's definitely different. I think that the East Coast is definitely cold as the way like the hustle is a little bit it's harder. Like you gotta show. It's not saying that the Cali you don't gotta show to be on point, but you kind of gotta show it more in time in here. When in Cali it's more not really if you lay back, or if you show it very laid back. It's like if you show secureness but very laid back, very like it's okay, it will happen. Here now it's going to happen. We'll make it happen. It's just like I guess like I guess traveling both of the spots. I would say there's a time difference in a sense, like with what people do. It's definitely different spots, even like nature wise is different, like different vibration for sure, because it's different like plants, different scenario, different environment.
Yeah, no, for sure.
The people is the same in a sense, a little bit, like we have the same kind of views because we're still in the US. But just because of the cultures, because the East Coast and the West Coast cultures is much difference, that's all.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Plus we're older, remember that, where the East Coast is much older,
Yeah,
way older than the West Coast in a sense. There was like more Indian reserve in the West Coast later, later on with the colonies were here.
yeah,
So
no,
we're
I,
we're
I,
older society, like for the lack of a better word.
yeah, no, for sure, dude. I mean, I think that's dope. Like, I love, I've been to the East Coast maybe like once in my life, and it was cool. I didn't get enough time to like witness the whole aspect of the culture out there and stuff like that. But from what I experienced, dude, like New York is dope. Like in Jersey and man, I've never personally been to Jersey, but I see a lot of dope people who come out of Jersey, and just the whole aspect of when you're on the West Coast, you always kind of like want to see what it's like on the East Coast, and I think it's vice versa. A lot of cats from the East Coast want to see what's good with the West Coast, So I think they
Yeah.
they both differ in a way, but at the same time, like it does have its own like aspects of like of like the wanting to go out there and see what's the differentials. Um, so yeah, if you guys don't know my man Heric right here, he is an ill b-boy, man of many hats. Does some really cool stuff. What got you into b-boy, man? Like what kind of brought you into the culture and kind of drove you to like come into hip hop?
Well, all right. What got me into b-boy? B-boy came to me more
Okay.
than I looked for it. I was in my front porch in New Jersey, right
Yeah.
here, like in my hometown in Kearney, and one of my best friends now, right, Jeff, DJB, we used to call him. He showed up. He was just moving in the block. He had just moved to the block. He moved from like another school in Kearney, so
Okay.
he moved, and he had learned breaking from Patterson, New Jersey, from his cousin. So he came up to my front porch. We're doing BMX. We like build a homemade ramp. We got like
Yeah.
a scratch wood from back of my house, from whatever we were constructing. We made it like with hammer nails, right? It was me, Jose, and CJ. We were there, and then we're just doing BMXing, right? He comes up with red. I remember all this like if it was yesterday. He comes with a red Adidas track sweater, and then track pants, Adidas black, and Adidas Sambas,
Yeah.
black and white Sambas, right? Spiky hair. And then he was like, "Oh, you guys break?" And I was like, "No." And then he did it simple. He did knee drop, freeze, and he got
Oh.
up and he went to a pose, and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "What's that?" I was like,
Yeah.
"What's that?" And then he was like, "Oh, this is breaking." And I was like, "Yo, show me." And he's like, "I'm going to show him." So I show him like I can do kick up. I was very athletic. Like I moved a lot. I did a lot of like I did anything that I wanted to learn. I did it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I remember he's like, "Oh, come over to my house. I'm gonna show you more stuff." I show him the stuff I can do. He was like, "Yo, you're gonna be good one day." And that's it. And then from there, I did it as much as like some people be like, "Yo, you weren't that generation," but in Jersey, since it was like I guess it's a suburban small city town,
Yeah.
right off New York, like a half an hour train ride, right? Kind
Yeah.
of like if I would say you're going to Brooklyn, but not with that Brooklyn vibe, different vibe. Yes, changes because it's Jersey, right? We
Yeah.
look for boxes. We used to walk the avenue. We used to walk like every time it was day of garbage. Me and
Uh,
Jack would walk, or like my friends, family members will walk. We'll walk to just look for like boxes, and then we'll pull them up, we tape it up, we'll tag it, and we'll break in my backyard. And that's kind of how it started. And
see,
this is me just not even practicing breaking. I didn't train it. I
yeah,
just did it. It was just like
natural.
learning and doing it. That's it. Like I
Yeah.
was like every other day or every day. Sometimes we'll go do something else and we'll forget about it, and then we'll the next day be like, "Yo, let's put the box and break."
No, for
So it was
sure.
like that. Yeah. So that's how it kind of came to me more than I looked for it.
Okay. Yeah,
And
that's I have a kind of a similar story to that. Like it did come to me. I used to skateboard in like middle school.
nice. Yeah,
I
me
used to try
too.
to be a skater back in the day. I
Oh,
wasn't
nice.
good, but I mean,
No,
I tried. But
you did all this and hill flip, kick flip,
yeah,
stuff like that.
dude, I could do like bare minimum like a kick flip, ollie, and then a 50-50 grind. That was it. That was my accomplishments in the skate world. Um,
Oh, okay.
but a couple of my friends, they were semi into it, and I remember one time I was skating, to we used to have this after school program called Lair where you can kind of just go kick it, skate, and play video
Oh,
games, and
nice.
then there was breakdancing. So I didn't pay attention to it for like a hot second. Then one of my friends came up to me. He's like, "I started learning how to break," and I was like, "Okay." And then I was like, "Let me see what you can do." And he threw a little set. He did a little 6 step into his little freeze, and I was like, dead ass. I was like, "That's stupid. I could do that. That's not even hard." So he's all, "Well, let's see you do it then." So I went, and then I went to the practice spot, and everybody was it was dope. And I was like, okay. So then I learned how to do like 6 step and freeze in like the first 2 days. But I think it's
Nice.
just like the environment and like the actual like just the atmosphere of the people that were there that kind of drew me keep coming back, because there was a lot of dudes that were there that were cocky, that like you're a newbie guy, they're gonna call you out, and just
Oh,
that's how
okay.
people kind of made themselves better by calling people out. So I appreciate it though, because I swear every day I went there, called out, called out, called out, called out.
Oh,
and I
nice.
and I got to the point where like I was like, all right, like maybe this isn't for me. But I was like, you know what, nah, man, I'm gonna keep going back. So then eventually, it got to the point where I loved the aspect of practicing and getting better. And once I started seeing the results, I saw my cousin. I was like, hey man, I could smoke you now. And he's like, I don't even break dance no more. I was like, oh, come on, bro. So after that, I just like, it was always just kind of something I kept. And then I moved to New Mexico,
Oh, wow.
and then after that, like I met some guys out there, and shout out to TWS crew out of New Mexico and stuff.
Nice.
But they brought me up, and they were just like, showing me like power and actually learning how to actual dance, and just the whole aspect of everything. And it was dope to kind of just be part of all that stuff and learning more about the cultural about it too, because there was a dude there who who kind of like showed me the history and taught me the history about b-boying and stuff. So shout out to him. um it's cool to kind of hear people's story, because it does kind of sound like similar. Like a lot of cats don't really go out to looking to start breakdancing or b-boying or any of that stuff. It just kind of finds them,
No.
like you said. And I think that's dope. So
Well, I like that was my experience as a kid. This was
yeah,
when I was 9 years old.
yeah,
So like I didn't took it no serious. I also learned how to pop during that time. And it was just like I went. There was this thing called PVGC, which is public party or public boys and girls club there at PVGC, right? And it was like a party, right?
yeah,
So like to listen to R&B, like like 2000s R&B, right?
yeah,
Like Rue, things like that, right? And then we'll break there, right? We'll break. It was like the little thing. It's like only a little group. It was like maybe five of us, maybe even less, like three of us, right? And I
yeah,
had no mind to it, right? Then I got into high school, like I did sports. I still break, but I didn't practice. Like
yeah,
there was
yeah,
no sense of actually. To me, practice is like acquiring a skill, right? I
yeah,
think I mentioned this to you. I practiced many times, right? To
yeah,
me, practice is like getting the skill down. There was none of that. It was just actually just whatever came out, came out. Yes, I did. When I was little, I did practice the windmill and I did practice backspins and headspins, and that's it. And
yeah,
everything else was just like the six step was like whatever came out.
yeah,
I probably practiced it once in my life. Okay, the freeze probably a little bit, but not. It wasn't training. Then when I was 17 years old, right, I
yeah.
used to play. I still do, right. Play Counter Strike competitive, right? I
Okay.
used to play. Yeah, yeah. Like I used to be in the league and everything, right?
Oh shit.
And yeah, I meant many leagues, and I remember, like I remember one of the first, not the first league, one of the first leagues that we actually they doing good. I was in the in this collision in my mind as a young child, right? As a young adolescent, right?
Yeah.
Of like I want to break, but I don't want to leave my team. And I remember Jeff, my boy that showed me how to break. I talked to him. I was like, "Yo, Jeff, I think this is gonna be my last match." And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, why?" And he's like, "I think I want to break." And he was like, "You should do that. This will always be here." That's what he told me.
Wow.
He's like, "It's fine. We're winning, and if we lose, we lose. There's always going to be a next time."
Yeah.
And I left that, right? Not that I was good at it, but it was because my friend was doing it too. I like it. I like anything that is competitive, right? Anything
Yeah.
that's kind of like a sport I like, right?
Yeah.
And then about like not even like 6 months into that, I meet my crew, like my actual crew. I meet
Okay.
DAC. We start making like little practice sessions in the park by my house, and
Yeah.
like all this little community we built. And then I meet my crew. Then I saw like b-boys. Then I
Okay.
actually saw b-boys.
Yeah.
And I saw like crazy shit. Like I was like, see, first time I see Atlas do 2000, he did like five. I was like, yo, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Like I want to now I'm older, so I'm like now I want to practice this. And
Yeah.
then yeah, I got lucky because I met my crew like 6 months into it, and then they were like, yo, you should come to the jam. And I was like, oh, okay. I saw it, and I was like, I can do that. I think I can do that. Then the next jam I went, I entered, I made it to the semifinals. That was my first jam.
Okay.
I was start from the hood, I think, something like that.
Damn.
Yeah. And then
Semifinals on
Atlas
your
went.
first jam? I got smoked my
Yeah,
first jam.
no, yeah, yeah. But to mind you, like I had battled before, but not in a jam. Like I had battled in like dance competitions,
Oh,
right?
okay.
But not in a jam, not a b-boy jam. Like
Yeah.
like like they were good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I made it to the semifinals. I lost to like Suave, which is like one of like the rockers from Brooklyn.
Oh,
You
okay.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So he has another name. I can't remember his name right now. It'll come out on the way. So many names.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I lost to him. Atlas for my crew. He's my best friend now. He won that jam, and I remember telling him, I was like, "Yo," I was like, "Congrats, man! Like this really inspired me. I want to get at your level." And then I entered his crew.
Ah,
So
okay.
so from 2017 to like I guess now I would say, right, it's been that whole journey, and they've been the whole b-boy lifestyle in a sense.
That's dope.
Here and there, shit happens,
Yeah.
here and there.
So I want to ask, like, what made you transition from, you're obviously from the East Coast, and you're made a quite a bit of noise out there, but what made you want to
Mhm.
come out to the West Coast and kind of start being out here and competing and checking out, like, as far as like the culture out here? What drove you to come out here to Cali?
Um, First I went to Cali for a personal training seminar.
Okay.
I went there because I'm a personal trainer. I went there. I really liked the vibe.
Yeah.
I like the nature. When I saw it, I was like, whoa, like I was like, this is beautiful. I like the food, I like the people, and I didn't get the chance to break.
Ah,
I got the chance to break at the seminar. I just didn't get the chance to go look for the b-boys.
yeah.
So I was, eager to know more.
Yeah.
So when I came back, when I went back, I was like, I gotta go there. And then when I moved to New York, I got an opportunity for a job in Cali. And then I was thinking about it because I also had good opportunity here, like in the East Coast. Like it's always for me, it's good. I do good in the East Coast, and I can't like I'm blessed about that. Every time I come back, everything kind of falls put here, for me.
Yeah.
I have support because I have family close too.
Yeah.
And so what I was going with this, then I decided, I was like, you know what? I talked to a lot of my friends, b-boys, and I was like, what do you think if I go to the West Coast and I learn a little bit of that style? And
Yeah.
what do you think like that it will make? Because for many years, like to me, right? Like
Uh-huh.
for many years to me, like I learned how to break, I knew how to break, I was good at breaking, but I always was building for my style. This is why I'm very recognized. Even when like you see me, it's like, oh, this there's a lot of things there that are different, right?
Yeah.
Because every place that I went, I always simplify it to one word so I can implement in the style that I wanted to build.
Yeah.
And I knew Cali was the spot that I needed to stay at least 4 to 5 years to understand everything. There's still stuff that I don't get.
Yeah.
Like there's still stuff. I was a big fan of headhunters. Big
Oh,
fan
okay.
of them.
Yeah. Shout
Big
out
fan
to
of
San
them.
Jose Headhunters.
Yes, I would say. So I was a big fan of them, and I just wanted to see why it was so different. Because I've been around many countries, and there's always a little bit of difference in everything. So it's
Yeah.
a little bit of like their little culture put into breaking. So Cali was a must. So
Yeah.
Cali was a must.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically I got the opportunity and I took it. I was like, just pack up, go, get your car, drive cross country, and yeah,
That's
that's kind of how
crazy,
it
bro.
was. It
Just
was
to
like,
pick up and
like,
leave like that, just,
yeah.
that shows like the passion. Like a lot of people underestimate the passion of like artists and b-boys and MCs and,
Mm,
and graph like they literally like, dancers and graph artists like especially like they risk their lives like I'm doing some crazy shit. Like, b-boys we always risking our bodies, our health, our well-being for, just to get that next level.
yeah.
And like, graffiti artists like to get their next up, their next piece, their next bomb. They do some extreme shit sometimes too, man. Like they trains and billboards, like that shit's dangerous, bro. Like I think it's
Mm,
dope and I give all the praise, but I definitely don't think that like as far as those artists go, they're the most underpaid and also the most like under like rated you know additions to as far as like artists and people who are part of that community. So
mm.
I mean, shout out to all the artists, worldwide. But like I mean, the b-boys and the graph, and that they need that shine too. I mean, MCs are blowing up. They blow up, on the daily, which is dope. But I mean, I've always felt like I think nowadays it's a little bit better. But as coming up, I definitely felt like dancers and graph artists did not get as much recognition as they should have. Especially with the risks that we take and the levels of
Yeah, yeah,
extreme
yeah.
that we do.
Well, yeah. I mean, we got a chance now, right? We were put in the Olympics, right? Like
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
the recognition from more than 40 years,
yeah.
probably 50.
Yeah,
And
I was actually talking about that last episode with my cousin, but he he has been out of the b-boy scene for years, but I actually wanted to get an actual current b-boys aspect of how do you feel about it actually being in the Olympics now, and where do you see it going?
how do I feel?
Yeah,
Um, I knew it was coming. How how do I feel for my next generation? I am exhilarating, happy. How do I feel about me? I think it's fucked up. I only got one chance. I think it's a little bit like, and then all the older people. It means anyone from 30s to 36. they're gonna like they have a chance. Anything's possible, brother. Anything possible with organized training and the right practice and the right mentality, etc. We don't want to talk about that now, right?
Yeah.
Etc. Right?
Yeah.
Everything is possible. Anything could be made manifest at any moment given, right? But
Hmm.
it's fucked up. It's a little harder. So I got a battle kids that like at the highest point in highest prime at with a lot more motivation because they live less than me. I
Yeah.
have other things to motivate myself for: money, my kid, my eating, like surviving in general,
Survival.
right?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
so I had to motivate myself for that, and as well to be a b-boy and and a high athlete b-boy, which I already am, but I had to keep it up, and I'm battering something that we all battle, right? Which is the age, right? The age, like, it changes, right? You gotta
Yeah.
practice, you have to practice more. Now that I don't care if I'm 40, I'm sure I can do air flirt when I'm 40. I have no doubts about that, right?
Yeah.
I want to believe that, but it does get a little harder as it goes, and especially because you're involved in life, right? You're involved in life, it gets harder because you lack that concentration of practice. And this happens to me. This happens to me this year as much as I want to, because there's so many shit going on that I lack that focus of like, oh, Harry,
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
Like I have times that I practice, and then I have time that I don't practice, and it's been like that for the last 4 years. Yes,
Yeah.
I keep my level because when I was 17 to like 26, I grind my ass off. I
Yeah.
only practice, so that's gonna was like that's more than like a lot of years.
Yeah.
So like that would stay. It goes away little by little, but that would stay. So I think it's fucked up for my generation. I think everyone that is from the 30s to 36, right? I
Yeah.
think good luck, very good luck, plan it well. Don't get upset if you don't make it, because it's the only chance you got it. At least you can say, yo, I tried it out. I
Exactly.
gave it my best, because you don't want to be all this out and look at a b-boy and be like, yo, I can fucking smoke you if I was your age, and that's what you didn't try. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I feel that. Hey, that's real shit though. Like, even though our generation and the generation before ours, like, they paved the way obviously for that to happen, but it is kind of shitty like that we have to sit back and kind of like watch like all of our hard work to kind of like be not like it did lead up to something being awesome like that, but at the same time it's like you want to be a part of that because you guys actually helped and contributed to that lead up of that
He has the
happening.
best UFC debut
And
And
ever. He's
like
the number
it's
4 lightweight
definitely
fighter on the
interesting to
planet,
like
coming off the
see like what I don't know what that was, sorry about that, my computer's tripping. But like just definitely like all the different things that happen as far as like wanting to be a part of, like you said, the Olympics. Like that's a fucking huge deal. Like the BC
yeah,
one was a big deal for our generation, I feel like, but the Olympics is a next fucking level, dude. Like
yeah.
that has the like I mean the BC did help out a lot of people and changed a lot of lives, but I think like being in the Olympics and winning something like that can change your
Yeah, you're gonna make a
whole,
salary.
yeah, it
You make a
changes your
salary.
whole
They're gonna
like,
give you. They're gonna have a sponsors, and plus whatever thing that you make out of the sponsors and out of commercials and anything, which
yeah,
you will because you're in the Olympics,
but also
right?
make history. You're also going to make history. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
holding that title of
On
the
top of
first
that,
b-boy to ever win the Olympics is got to be fucking legendary, dude. It's got to be legendary.
so like I think, like I said, I think it's fucked up. I think we're like that trash generation. Like I think we like build the empire, and we're
We
we're
kind
gonna
of just have to
we're
sit
gonna
back
stay
and
kind of
watch.
like cleaner men instead of like. It's so good though, because it's like if it wasn't for our generation, right,
Yeah,
and generation before us,
yeah,
right, this kids wouldn't be as good.
I agree.
Their style comes from us. There's like you can't. This is I hear this a lot from like a lot of like the big networks, like the big b-boy networks that we have. Like I don't want to mention them, but the big ones, they're always like, oh, what do they eat? They're crazy. This that. But yo, think the only thing they see was the cats that we're battering, the cats that
Yeah,
were doing this stuff. So they are inspiring for that. So they are trying to evolve that. So if it wasn't because we evolved it to that point, they
y-
wouldn't have that.
yeah, I agree.
So like so it's going to be hard for our generation, but it's fine. I think it's possible. I know we'll see a lot of familiar faces,
Yeah.
and even if I make it or not, I'm gonna be there to support. Even if I honestly thinking, and I know that even if I make it to the Olympics, I don't. I'm probably gonna travel to see it.
Oh no,
If
for
nothing
sure.
of this world changes, you know,
Yeah,
because I
no, I
learned,
definitely
you
plan
know,
on going to attending and seeing what happens. But like, say
yeah.
per se, like you don't make it into the actual Olympics, would you be interested in coaching somebody into
Oh
being
yeah,
into
yeah,
it and winning it? And like, you're still a part of that, but you're not gonna have the shine. You know, you're gonna have.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you'll get the praise, you'll get the respect, but you won't have that actual moment of winning the fucking Olympics.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's so good. It's so good. It's so
That's a
good.
good
It's
answer.
so
That's a
good.
good answer. But like,
It's so
okay,
good.
so this is kind of like where I feel too about certain things. Like, does it concern you? Because you know there's a lot of politics and everything, but there's
Yeah,
also a lot of conspiracy shit too. But does it
yeah.
worry you that like that is gonna pollute and interfere with our culture? Like putting so much emphasis on fame, money. You know that shit like that can get corrupt. So
Yeah.
do you believe that there's gonna be like conspiracy, and do you think there's gonna be like some sideways shit going on, especially when it comes to like the Olympics? Do you think that
Well, what
corruptness of money, fame, and all that stuff will come into play?
anywhere that there's discomfort, there's opportunity to conspire.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
there's always gonna be a conspiracy about anything,
Yeah.
and but especially if discomfort someone, not just the actual discomfort. If it's someone that's like, no, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I wonder what's happening on the back. Now, politics, there's always going to be an image that people want to go by. That they're
Yeah.
like, it's like the idea of hip hop,
Yeah.
right? Like the idea of hip hop, you had to be this way. I was lucky, and I'm not gonna say I didn't practice. It was the time of my life that I wanted to be that b-boy, and then really shortly after, like I was like, yo, I'm dressing like a b-boy. I was lucky enough that I didn't stay that long with that mentality. That I was like, no, I just gotta be myself.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough. It's like, no, I don't have to do that. I want to do that. I want to dress like that, but I don't have to. I can just however I want. I can act however I want. I can express myself however I want, you know?
Yeah.
So like there's always going to be those politics because people do want an idea for it. Like, like your idea of hip hop or my idea of hip hop is not the same idea that Crazy Leg has as hip hop.
Yeah.
It's not. As much as he can tell me he's I respect, because hip hop is about respect, but that doesn't mean I had to agree. There's a difference between respecting and agreeing.
Yeah.
I might not agree with that. I might be like, yo, no, that's gone, that's past.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like someone. Let's say one of my boys, Rich Knight. Shout out to Rich Knight. Says it's like, yo, there should be a policy, an insurance policy for moves. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, if you don't do it for 5 years, I can do it. Like if not
Hey,
active with that move for 5 years,
that's
if I
pretty
can do it,
interesting.
I can claim it and
I
do
can
it.
claim it. Hey,
I
I
was like,
mean,
oh, that's a good idea. That's a very business idea to look at move. I don't think so. I think that
yeah.
I don't think so. See, this is what I mean. That was his idea. It's a hip hop. Some people will be like, fuck that. No, you don't bite. That's a no.
Yeah, that's a
You know,
no-no. Yeah.
that's a no. Like for
Yeah.
me, that's a no. That's like my b-boy, like the common b-boy. But I mean, it's a no. It's like, nah, I'd rather make my own move. Unless I really like it, but not really.
Yeah. No,
But
for sure.
that's his idea. So I think those ideas, those innovative ideas, I always welcome. For me, it's always welcome. And I think that's more hip hop than anything because, like I said, like when it comes to like breaking, man, I think we're the most creative.
Yeah.
And when it comes to movement, like the amount of movement that is being created in a day in the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
world. Think about it for a day of people practicing. The
Yeah.
amount of movement that's being created is more than whatever move is made in UFC. Nothing is made like that. No,
Yeah.
it's like
Takes
millions of
time.
moves is being created every day for
Yeah.
b-boys. Even if it is like, oh, I'm gonna do this right now. Even
Yeah.
if I'm gonna really try to touch my knee now. Like the amount of it, we never think about it. If we were to have like an AI, right? Like something
Yeah.
like an artificial intelligence that can catch how many moves we create moves in the world b-boys create, I'm sure it's in the millions.
Yeah, no,
I'm sure.
that's real.
Yeah,
That's real
because like
shit.
how many moves you make in a day when you don't want to really like practice, train, and you're like, oh, I might just create
Yeah, I mean,
at least 20,
it's
30, 100 in that day.
yeah, that's
Times
true.
1,500 people, like, you know.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's
So
that's true, man. I mean, I feel like there's so many moves, so many different styles, but like they do clash sometimes, and a lot of people, you know, especially nowadays. Like back in the day, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have any of that shit to see all these different things that people were doing. So I feel like nowadays, like it is a little bit more played into like people biting because they can see it. They have like literally the b-boy world vision in their hands with all the
yeah.
technology. Back then we didn't have that shit. We had to wait every single year for freestyle session, for battle of the year, for fucking
Yeah.
b-boy summit, like just those videotapes back in the day, or DVDs. We had to wait for just to be able to like see these, to see somebody doing something different, or to actually see some kind of build up to new moves and shit. Like I remember the first time I saw battle of the year, I think it was like 1999 or 2000. One of there's the orange tape, but I remember
Yes,
that's the
I
first time
saw
I
it too.
seen
I
like
have it too.
crazy like
Yeah.
hand hops and flips and routines and just a bunch of shit that from the year before wasn't even conceived in my mind. I was like, holy shit, dude, like that's fucking crazy. Like how 1 year difference can, like you said, make such an impact on what these people are doing. And everybody had a different move. Even Cruz from the previous year, their whole style, their whole move set was fucking different because of what they were, like you said, generating in a day or
Yeah.
generating over a year. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, man. I
So
mean, I think that has a lot to do with it. Was a lot of people get to see firsthand practice footage. People are live streaming their practices. People are posting, a set on Instagram, on Facebook, and Snapchat, like all that shit. You get to see firsthand every day. So I do believe, like you said, like as far as the creativity goes, I think it is kind of going down. But at the same time, you see a lot of people who are still fucking killing it. But
yeah.
a lot of the shit now you see is getting kind of close to similarities, because I feel like people, like you said, either they don't want to practice, or how much are they actually going to try to create in a day as far as their mind goes. But what are we doing 90-80% of the time? We're on our phones looking at shit, looking at shit, looking at shit.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's intentional, but hey, who knows, man? I think that's just normal for people to see something and are like, oh, I want to try that, and flip
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
or try to do it, this way. But there, as far as the creativity and stuff goes, I feel like it's not as deep as it used to be.
Uh, yeah. So going back to your original question, so yes, politics do have their eyes on certain people that will make the vision of what they want hip hop, and it has to do with the people that
Big
feel
time, big time.
and then I'm not saying they don't have the right. No one can take this away, but anyone has the right that makes the right action and has the right idea, but they feel that they're responsible and they feel that they need to be part of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
those people, I have no idea who they are. I do know who they are. I'm just not going to mention names because it's pointless, and everyone knows who they are. Everyone knows who they are. It's obvious. Big organizers, people that have been running behind the scenes, right? And we know we know who you are.
You
We
know
know.
who you
We know who you
are.
are. We know that. I mean, if you're an adult enough, we know what you want.
Yeah,
But like for the b-boys that don't have that network, because this is about networking. It's always been about networking. It's
no,
not been
yeah,
about your moves. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, you practiced that for your whole life. It wasn't about your moves, right? It was about your move in a certain sense, right? But
yeah.
it's about who you know.
No,
But the good news about the other b-boys is that you gotta show something that no one sees. And if you come up with that, no one can be like, oh, you lost,
yeah,
even if they
no,
want to. If you do your research, if you strategize and you train
yeah,
very well,
yeah,
and you just be yourself, because that's the only shit that you can be, really,
yeah,
uh, you have a chance. And if you don't, just take it as it is. Take it like a fucking warrior. Be like, yo, I'll do it next time.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yo, if you don't make it to the Olympics, all these people are gonna go to the jam. That's your chance to fucking school them, anyways. So like that's I'm looking at it that way, because if I don't make it, then I'll be like, well, then come to the jam.
Yeah, no,
Like
for sure. I like how
yeah,
you said that though. I like how you said that, because that hits the fucking nail on the head. politics want to create our scene in their image. And
Yeah.
it's happened time and time again where I've seen that shit where certain judges or certain, like you said, big groups of big competitions, they will not give like the credit where it's due. Like you'll see somebody who
Yeah.
gets fucking smoked and then the other side wins and you're just like, that makes no sense. But the way certain people think and the way they view it, they want it, like you said, in their image. Like they believe
Yes.
that. And that's the thing about like judging nowadays. It's impossible to please everybody, to make everybody, because it's your own personal opinion. And a
Yeah.
lot of people disagree with how you want to see or say things, and that's just how the world works, obviously. But well, do you think there will ever be a legit 100% accurate judging system that they could implement?
I would love to, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think we'll get close as the years goes, but I don't think anyone can know what I perceive about creativity.
Yeah.
Like freedom, right? Freedom, right? Freedom, freedom is like you think freedom is. If you think freedom is, I want to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Well, freedom is not that. Freedom is what can I do with what I have?
Exactly.
Isn't it because you really can do whatever you want in a society that's not completely. I mean, you could, but good luck. Like you could.
No, hey,
I mean,
for real.
unless you
For
want to
real.
be in,
You're
on
never really free. Like
TV,
there's, even though they say you're free, you're never really free because there's laws,
Exactly.
there's
So freedom
rules.
is not do whatever you want. It's more, what can I do with what I have?
Exactly.
That's more freedom. What can I do with what I have?
Yeah. Yeah.
What am I
That makes
free to
sense.
do with what I have? So that's a perception. That's not even necessary to be true for anyone that can philosophically here be like, yo, I don't believe that, right? We can have a conversation about that for hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, how are you gonna tell someone at that moment when someone does something that he felt that was the best thing against someone else when it's its own creativity? Now we're doing the same thing. Like power move, it has a judging system.
Yeah.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. We know the move. We know when it gets hard, when it doesn't get hard. We know if you can become creative, and we judge by that. But breaking the whole aspect, that's really hard.
No, true.
That's really hard. I don't think so. I think we'll get close. I think that's the year. I think we've gotten better.
Yeah.
As much as it feels like we haven't, I think we got better.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you this, man. I'm I'm a believer of like aliens and shit.
Okay.
I don't know if you are, but do you possibly think that like aliens breakdance and if there were like let's pretend aliens are real, but do you think aliens have their own competitions? Do you think aliens break and they have like their own like style and shit like that?
Okay. Define aliens for me, or what you think?
Not illegal aliens, like I mean like legit aliens from outer space.
No, like define. No, like define like extraterrestrial beings.
Like
from another planet.
Different planet, different galaxy. Do you believe that there might be aliens from different planet, different galaxies that are breakdown bboys that are fucking doing their own thing? Like, do you think it's possible that they can do stuff like that?
If there's sound, yes. If there's sound, yes. If there's some sort of sound, there has to be some sort of. If there's some sort of sound with rhythm, then there's any type of dance. And
okay,
if they were to break or do some type of breaking, I don't know if they will do competitions like we do.
Yeah,
because it's like a more of a men idea.
Yeah,
competitive is like the right side of the brain is more like man stuff.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Not saying that.
No, that makes sense.
Don't compete, but it's more competitive. It's very like competitive right side. Like man,
more human nature that we're competitive.
Yes, to be competitive. So I think it's more earth than anything else to have competitions. But I think if there was sound in that certain universe or that certain planet, and I think it's those beings where.
No, for sure.
Even if there were gas, I think there will be some type of, even if there were gas or bacteria, I think there will be some type of move and breaking.
No, yeah, I think I agree, but I think there is some kind of form of dancing out there that they're doing that, you know, who knows how it looks or what it would be, but I think it might be something like that. But I also believe that maybe some of these motherfuckers are amongst us because there's some b-boys that are doing some crazy ass shit that's not human, bro. Let's keep it real.
But
I mean,
what's
you know what I'm talking about.
okay? But what's from Earth? What comes from Earth? Just plants.
True.
So it gives I'm not saying this. I'm just making everyone think right now is it gives an opportunity and a chance that we might not be from here. We do get sick from here.
Hey, that's
we do
true.
get sick from here. Uh, Trees live longer than us, and they're from here. They actually come out of the earth.
That's
You know?
true.
We by theological thinking, right? Theo means God, but in logical mean like study, right? By God's studies, right? Many
Yeah.
gods, I'm not talking about one. We come from dirt, right?
Yeah.
We come from dirt. But I haven't seen anyone being born from dirt. Like, you know, so
Here it is, people. We are not fucking from here. We are not from here.
There is people that look like animals, so I know they come from animals. There's people that look like fishes, man. Like you look at him and you're like,
like
you
mermaids?
Like fish.
There's
people
mermaids?
that you look at their face and you're like, you look like a bird. Or you like, or you look like a fish. I know you do look like a fish.
So you're saying that there's some people out there that might evolve from animals.
For sure.
Not just like apes and monkeys, but like birds and fish?
For sure. You don't see anyone has like a face that looks like a bird? For sure. 100%. Like,
hey, bro. I mean, there is some people.
There's people that look like animals. That I'm not tripping on that.
That makes me think now. That's crazy. I never would have guessed or thought that.
But I also think there's people that just not from here.
Yeah. Hey,
just not from here. Now you look at them and they're like odd. You're like, yo, you're the only one that looks like this. You know,
true.
You're like, why is that? Like,
that's
you don't
true.
look like anyone else. Like, you don't look indigenous. You don't look black. You don't look white. I just don't know what you look like. You know, but
yeah.
Like
that's crazy.
You don't look human. You don't look human.
I've never heard that, but that's some true shit right there.
I think so. I don't know if the picture of aliens, like the picture that we're being kind of programmed to see, like how we draw it.
Yeah.
I wish they look really cool. I wish I could talk to one of them. I don't think I want to be adopted. No, thank you, because I heard they do like I heard they get naughty, and I don't want to get naughty with no aliens.
No butt stuff, huh?
No butt stuff. Not by aliens.
Oh,
anyway,
shit. No, that's what's up. I like that. I like that perspective. I respect that. So I want to go into the final subject. Is where do you see b-boying going in the next like 10 years, and what motivates you and pushes you to push your boundaries and your limits to getting to the next level?
Okay, so 10 years. 10 years. 120 months, right? 120 months.
Yes, sir.
That's like 36 million days. Or 36,000 days, something like that. Yeah, maybe more, maybe like 50,000 days.
Something like that.
I'd be, how old would I be? 41. Okay, if I see like, thinking of like a b-boy like Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Can I see b-boy Lorenzo in 10 years? Now can I see a little kid b-boy Lorenzo? I think b-boy I don't think will peak in creativity. I think creativity will always be there.
Yeah.
But I think with the Olympics and I think if organizers close their mind and they stop also creating, I think, which I believe that not going to happen, but if they stop creating, I think we're going to reach a peak of what breaking is. I think that there's going to be like, okay, that's how you break. There's no other way around. There's going to be like basic kind of like UFC, you know, like there's one out of like thousands of fighters that come out with a new way of fighting, no, that
That's
we
true.
use Tai Chi or we use
Yeah.
Kung Fu, which is not regular to use in the UFC.
Yeah.
No, in the UFC, the best ones are the ones that use the most effective.
Yeah.
They don't even want to get fancy, you know. They like, no, just use the basics because that shit works.
Yeah.
So I think that creativity wise, if we don't stop it, I don't know where it will be. It will be really interesting to know where it will be in 10 years. But if we stop creativity, we'll peak and we'll have a definition for breaking. We'll have breaking. We'll have like, okay, this is breaking. It'll be in the dictionary. You'll read it. Oh, okay, now I can do it. I know what it is.
Okay.
So in 10 years, I'm not expecting triple air flare. No, I'm expecting
Well, could you
I'm
imagine?
expecting maybe a new move. I hopefully expecting a way new move. You know,
New
it's
move?
getting harder to make a new move.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? So hopefully we don't stop it. Like I said, we're like the most creative community out there.
Of course.
You know,
For sure. For
You
sure.
know, compare them painters or like drawers. Like we're probably at that top where of creation. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now my motivation, I'll boil it down to one thing: my son. You know, like I
Shout
boiled
out to
that
the
to one
kids,
thing.
man.
Before it was a lot of external motivations, and I still will use it. You know, I still will like train my mind, and I still will use a lot of those motivations that are external. They're like, you know, they time consuming. They're like credit. You
Yeah.
know, like it's like shoes. When you get new shoes, it's credible. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
not only that you gotta pay for them, is that you feel fresh for a certain amount of time until you just don't have that motivation anymore. That's
Yeah.
called external motivation. But like internal motivation, what I could come to me that I'm like, yo, what's the best thing that I can possibly inspire for and I
Yeah.
can possibly aspire for is
Yeah.
my son. I keep it down simple. I think you understand that
Yeah.
now a lot more. Like you know, you're how old is your kid? Forget.
I have two. I have an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old.
So you already experienced that longer than I. You know, mine is only 9-10 months. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So you
new to me.
definitely.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
and you're right. I mean, pushing yourself for your children is a whole nother thing, dude. Like the motivation is definitely crazy, and you know, I've always said that to myself. I wanted to be able to be in this game long enough to where I could enter a competition with my son, and
yeah,
then the ultimate goal is to win one with him. And you know
nice,
that's like my dream right there. You know.
cool. That will happen.
I
You
believe
know,
it. And
that will
I same
happen.
with you, man. I
I
believe that
think
you and your little
no,
man are gonna destroy stuff. I mean, you guys, you know, you're an amazing dude, and you know, I can't say enough good things about you. But you know,
word.
just keep, like you said, keep doing what you're doing, man. And I appreciate, you know, you taking the time to come talk on the podcast. And you know,
Cool.
I just want to say shout out to the East Coast, man. Shout out to Heric. Shout out to, you know, Jersey. You guys are killing it out there, and just keep pushing to those, like you said, those next levels. Do you want to give a shout out to anybody or anything before we jump off?
There's many names I don't remember, but many names. Shout out to all you guys. You know, to the SAC family for
I
sure.
appreciate
You
that.
know, you guys are always like
This is your second home, bro.
that's yeah, that's a home to me. You know, like in all California, I've been all over, and then I found SAC always like, you know, practice with you guys, talking to you guys, very like, you know, similar to me. You know, very
Agreed.
similar stories. You know,
Yeah.
shout out to Nara Brahma from Peru. I know they're doing a lot of things now. They're
Yeah.
actually trying to like get sponsors to go to the Olympics. They're doing the little federation. They're trying to make it like that the government will help them out. So shout out to them. Good luck on them. I know they got I got their backs. You know, like I'll help them out in whatever I can. You know,
Yeah.
and shout out to every b-boy out there. You know, like
For
I always
sure.
say, like just do your own thing. Just practice. Just make sure you practice and you put the time to practice the right thing. Don't waste time. You know.
Hell yeah.
And I'm a victim of that for sure, of wasting time, and everyone is, you know. And
Yes, sir.
don't lie to yourself and be like, yo, no, I do everything. No, don't. If you don't lie to you, say, yeah, I wake up at 5 a.m., but you really wake up at 7, and no, nigga, that's 2 hours behind. You know, like you know, like it shit happens. You know, I know life gets weird, but yeah, that's that. I would say like shout out to everyone that, especially the ones that are grinding more than me or more than anyone now,
Yeah.
with all this pandemic thing going on, and they still kind of like stay put, because that was like a big hit for everyone. Believe it or don't believe it, you know, for everyone's points of view, because you know we're like in a multi-dimension
Yeah.
experience where we can believe anything we want. Um, yeah, you know, war, and you know, my respects for everyone. My respect for you. Thank you for having me,
Oh,
and
for sure.
yeah,
Thank,
bro, for sure we can do this again. It's fun.
thank you again, Heric. Hey, yo, shout out to you, man. And if you guys are watching this, please check him out on his IG, his Facebook, his YouTube, all that stuff. You guys, Super Heric. That's it, man. I appreciate you coming on, and until next time, I appreciate it, dog. Peace.
Cool.